Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your old pal, Mr. Butter, and I'm running out of daylight, so let's just get to the kicks. In this review, we're going to be looking at the Air Jordan 13 Retro in the Obsidian colorway. I always like it whenever they color coordinate the box and whatnot, and that's what they gave us on this release. You got that. I think that's probably the powder blue color. Definitely not Obsidian, but it matches, I believe, the outsole of this pair of shoes. So I like that. I love being able to look at a box and know what shoes are in there. This would enable me to do that. The tag reads Air Jordan 13 Retro. The color is white, dark powder blue, malty. And I thought for sure that they just referred to these as the Obsidian 13s, but I don't see Obsidian anywhere on the label, so go figure. Retail price is $190, and I picked these up from my local Finish Line. And then I'm hoping it's bright enough that you guys can see just how dope looking these shoes are, but they're really, really clean. Really clean. I really like on 12s and 13s when the majority of the shoe is white, just like a bright white. And I don't know why, I think it accentuates all the shapes a lot better. It's just always been my preference, even since high school. I thought it was Obsidian, but I guess it's dark powder blue. It's kind of like a felt material back here on the heel and the sides, and then what's on the midsole. But then up here on the toe of the shoe, it's actually a leather. And I think that color, along with all this bright white, I think it looks really, really nice. The way this outsole is a brighter blue, I think it just really pops. Looks good. I wasn't expecting to like them as much as what I do, but they look really, really nice. And blue's my favorite color. I really like the way that Jumpman on the tongue coordinates with the outsole, and I just think it kind of gives the shoe some balance. I think that's a really neat touch. What in the heck was that? There's something rustling in the trees back there, and we've had bear in the neighborhood, so. You'll have to excuse me if I walk in and grab my shotgun. Alright, anyhow. Got a real unique outsole on 13s. It was really way ahead of its time, just kind of like space age. It's got a carbon fiber spring plate there in the middle of the outsole, and sometimes they'll give us like contrasting colors on that so you can see the squares, and in this case they didn't. It's really just a lot of that obsidian or dark blue, but it still looks dope, especially with all these bright blue hits going around it. I think that's powder blue, but then of course you have these classic accents, and they're always dope looking. It's got the Jumpman on it. You've got all these white rubber traction pads. It's kind of like a herringbone, but it just looks good. It looks really good. It looks nice and clean. Sometimes the outsoles of these, the paint is super sloppy, but these look really nice and clean. You see more of that bright white up here on the midsole with these sections that just kind of jump out at you. But I love the way all these curvy shapes just kind of go together. There's no rhyme or reason or anything, but they look real nice. And then on the midsole, you also have some of this dark blue felt that then wraps up the side of the shoe, and then around the back. I think it's neat the way they mix up the materials like that on the midsole. They look really good from every angle. I think it's a really cool shoe. It might be getting a little bit too dark, but I've always thought that this cat eye was one of the coolest things about this shoe. It's got the number 23 and then a Jumpman in there, and I love that touch. It makes me feel like a kid whenever I see that. But we'll go ahead and start with this toe box, and this leather's decent. It's not the highest quality, but it's nice, nothing wrong with it. And it's a nice navy blue color, looks good. It's really smooth, doesn't have much texture on that. And you don't get a lot of that leather. It's mainly just right there on the toe box. But then over top of that, you've got this quilted looking piece of leather, and it's got a very tumbled look to it and a lot of texture, and I just love the way that shines. And I also really like just the quilted look at that. It always reminded me of like an old blanket or like an old pillow or something, you know, that was at your grandma's house or something. But it just, I've always thought that it has like kind of like a cozy look to it, and I still think it does. Then of course you get that cat eye like I already showed you, but then this blue felt just wraps around the heel and then to the other side of the shoe. And on the inside of the shoe you can also see you've got more of that nice tumbled type white leather. It's not a super thick cut, and it's not like it feels super buttery or anything, but it serves its purpose, and I think it looks real dope. They gave us some navy blue shoelaces. They're like the rope style laces, and it didn't come with any extras. I don't know if I've ever had any 13s that came with extras. But then the tongue is like a navy blue felt material, and then at the top of the tongue you've got that same leather that you have on the toe box, and again that Jumpman that matches the blue on the outsole. But the sock liner is white. Altogether I think they're a really nice looking pair of shoes, and let me know what you think about them. But y'all have a good one. I'll talk at you soon. Mr. Butter out.